welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem, it's my pleasure. So can you tell us a few words about yourself?
Okay, so my name is Mi Elverson. I am Swedish by birth. That's why I have a bit of a strange name. It's not actually my real name from the start, but that's what I go by. And I've lived almost half of my life away from Sweden. I've been in England for 23 years, and I now live in Brighton. And I am the founder of the Vlog Academy. I'm the creator of the iStorm community. I'm also the UK country chair of the G100 Media Arts and Communication, which is a global organization. And I'm generally passionate about online marketing, video, and visibility for small businesses and larger organizations.
Excellent. And today we talk about getting in front of camera. And what stops us from getting in front of camera and what huge benefits there are to explore once we are in front of camera. Where did the idea for your business come from? Have you always been passionate about video work and video production?
I've always been passionate about the moving image and storytelling. I started with photography already as a 12-year-old. My father was, he's still around, but he used to take a lot of photos, so he taught me the foundations. And from there, I guess it was a combination of theater really and photography, and I realized that can be combined and we can make movies. So I went into TV production and then commercial production, very high-end commercial production and documentaries. And then I went back to still photography actually for a while when I had my baby. And once he was a little bit more, when he went to start school, I started getting back into video production, and the whole scene had changed. So that's when I realized that vlogging was a thing, and that it could be done with very small means compared to what I was used to working with massive, huge teams.
Exactly, yeah, which is a valid point, I suppose, because now there's even less excuses to do it. And I understand you're working with, like you mentioned before, with smaller businesses. So you work with both men and women, but my understanding is that lots of your work is with women, and you have a number of products and services that are designed for women to help them become more camera confident and so on. Where did the idea for that come from? Is it when you became a mom, you noticed women are less visible?
No, that's not quite where it started. I did notice that, and I noticed there's certain insecurity in starting up your own business. But the real shift came from, I do work with very large international organizations and companies as well. I do corporate workshops. My training and my online training is mostly for small businesses. But it was when I started doing the corporate workshops that I realized, with a mixed group of both men and women, with the same experience, same education, hopefully the same salary, and the same title, if you like. They were all managers, they were all experts in what they were doing. But as soon as I brought out the camera and said, right, let's have a play, let's grab a microphone and get you in front of the camera, all the men stepped forward, grabbed a microphone and a light, and went for it. And all the women literally took a step back. And they didn't want to be seen. So that was it was actually really upsetting to see.
And
being a
woman, yes. Which is why one of the reasons why we're talking about this today. So what do you think stops us women from getting in front of camera?
You know, Ella, I think it goes back a long time. Through history of time, we have always been on the support side rather than the delivery side. So we've had male tribal leaders, we've had all religious leaders have been men. Teachers were only men for a long time. We have had to look up at the the father in the house, the husband, even our brothers have been making sure that women remained in a position of serving and just looking after everyone else, which of course was a big part of what we were doing. But we haven't been entitled to an education. We haven't been invited to take part in decision making. So women haven't had a voice for many, many, many years, and it's only just now starting here in the Western world. And we're very fortunate to live in this part of the world where we're allowed to have a voice and equal education and all of that. So I think that we're breaking free from all of that, but it comes with a lot of insecurities, and we've always had to play the part of trying to be the winning woman, to get the man, because it was a means of survival. So we had to look pretty, we had to be sexy, we had to be flirtatious to keep work, husbands, men engaged, really. But we don't need to do that anymore. But it's still so ingrained in us that to be successful in business, we have to be all of that. And of course, social media isn't helping, because we see all these, very glossy influencers who all are focused on the looks and the surrounding. Whereas what I try and teach with what I do, the most important part is your message, of course, your knowledge, to share that to people who really need you. They need your expertise. It doesn't matter what you look like and where you live and what car you drive.
Exactly. So I think you're making a very valid point there, one that most of us don't realize when we consider creating videos. There are so many things we have to offer in all of us individually in our businesses, and the years of experience, expertise, and our niche area, and there is audience for all of that. It's just all about starting to become confident in front of camera and starting to spread the world and share your knowledge. That is so important, making that first step, right?
Absolutely.
And then everything what follows doesn't feel, I know from my experience, it doesn't feel that bad. It actually feels quite good. And the more you do that, the more confident you become.
It can be incredibly uplifting and rewarding. And it's quite a powerful journey as well, because you learn a lot about yourself on the way.
Exactly. So it's very interesting to hear what stops us to get in front of camera. I also think from a psychology point of view, I think there is a lot about there was, of course, the societal pressure to always be in the background and in a supportive role, but there is also the concept of self-worth and self-esteem that plays a huge role. And I talk about this in some of my other videos and podcast interviews, where it actually takes women on average 2 to 2.5 years to have the confidence she had before having kids. And that is huge. And that is based on the international research. So I think we change our identity so much when we become mothers and wives, that we forget about who we truly are and what we truly desire. And we kind of subconsciously, but also consciously, put ourselves second. And that is not the best place to start from when you are considering doing video work. Would you agree with that?
I completely agree. It's very true. And I've been there myself. I completely lost my confidence after having a child, and I've been out of work environment for many years. And it was very, very hard to get back into it.
Another question I have for you here, based on your experience, what are the most common issues we face in our businesses that video and social media vlogging can fix?
What they can fix.
How can videos help us promote ourselves and our businesses?
Yeah, so video is considered the most powerful online marketing tool you can have at the moment. And it is because of two main things.
Mhm.
One is that people love video. We actually really love watching video. Many people would prefer to watch a video than to read a document. So we gain more information in a quicker way, and we also retain more information when we watch a video. And that's why e-learning is so big now, because we can learn in our own time and in our own space. And video is also multi-layered. So you get sound, you have audio, you have the image, you can have graphic design, you can have music, you have a person that you connect with, you have a voice that you might resonate with, and a lot of things going on in that frame.
Yeah.
So it has a lot of depth. But also the other thing is that the social media algorithms love a video, and those are the little courses that work underneath all of these social media places, including Google as well. So they select what posts, what content should be pushed forward and what is held back. So I call them the promoters and the bouncers, because sometimes they don't let people's posts through. So they love video. So when you do a video, it has a much higher potential to get seen by your audience, full stop. So even that is worth doing video rather than just writing a text. And even a text with an image doesn't go as far. Yes. So yeah, if you want to grow your audience, if you want to be seen, then that is the way to go forward. You would waste your time if you didn't do videos, to be honest.
Yeah.
So it's a no-brainer. And also not only for social media, but people are more likely to click through on an email if you have a video attached. If you have a video on your landing page on your website, people are much more likely to stay longer on your website and have a look around. So it's a very powerful tool to lead people into the next step. And also a much wider spread. If you do start create regular videos, people are also going to you're going to gain trust and credibility when you start sharing your expertise again and again, and people see you show up as an expert. They're going to regard you as an expert. So next time they need something, what you offer, they're going to come to you because they have seen you and you have established that trust and connection.
Yes.
So that
sorry.
Yeah, a lot of positive things with video. Those are just a few of them. And I think that also when you grow an audience, when you do start working with video in the right way on social media, you get a returning audience. And if you're in business, you know that it's always a returning audience that is more likely to buy into more products and more expensive products as well, because you have gained their trust already.
Right, exactly. So I love what you said there. It's all very valid. And I think one thing that to me personally was standing out is the credibility and being perceived as an expert. And I think what's worth adding here is that many of us feel like we are expert. We're starting a business. We feel like an expert in our own head, right? And we think, well, I'm doing this because I know about this. But the thing you're forgetting about is that the whole world doesn't know that. And if you start creating videos about what you know and about what your business does and about how your products and services can help, but not just from a marketing point of view, but discussing the larger problem that your business focuses on, in fixing, discussing perhaps mental health in families, or discussing women inequality at work, or work-life balance for working parents. If you share your knowledge and discuss those topics openly as a free content, you really do gain that credibility over time, and you are getting returning audience who subscribe to your products and services in your channel and are more likely to buy from you. But I think specifically that bit that we know we are an expert, but we are something stopping us from just, unleashing that energy from us and giving it to the world, because I think we are afraid that we are going to be judged. I think that's part of it. Like, there is a fear of judgment. There is a fear of being perceived not being good enough, and many other subconscious beliefs that are kicking in here that are all coming back to our childhood, which we need addressing. But yeah, very interesting topic and very interesting conversation indeed. And
I'm not sure, to be honest, that everyone knows they are an expert. And an expert is actually a very big word. You know,
yeah,
it takes a lot to become an expert. So I think it's a bit of a trend word as well. But we certainly know our stuff. But what allows us to believe in that as women is the return we get from our clients and our audience more than anything else. And the quickest way to believe that you are an expert, to use that word, is when you do a video and people come back to you, even if it's one person, and they say, I loved your video, that was so helpful, I was really battling with something and you really helped me. That can really give you a confidence much bigger than you had before. So it's a route to feel like an expert.
Yes, I think that's very fair. What would you say, me, if somebody considers becoming more visible and perhaps they do want to share their knowledge and expertise, what would you say their first steps should be in that direction? What would you advise them to do first?
So first of all, I think a lot of people are afraid of niching themselves. They want to talk to the whole world. And that, in my opinion, there's varied opinion, but I don't believe that it's a good thing to be too broad, because I think we all resonate with certain people and we choose those and we stick to them. So the more you can niche yourself, you will be talking directly to the people who are attracted to what you can help them with. So the clearer an image you have of your audience, your target audience and your ideal customer, the better it is. And then when you know those, just talk to them and forget about the rest of the world. And that's going to make you feel more relaxed in front of the camera as well, and feel like you have more of a personal conversation like we are now, you and me. We're not talking to a massive audience out there. We're just having a conversation. And also remembering that people might be listening with their headphones on the beach or, you know, on the train. So it is a personal conversation. You're not shouting to the back of the room to a larger audience. So once you know who you are talking to, you need to start from their perspective, really, and ask them, literally go and ask them, what do you need right now? What are you struggling with? How can I help? And then focus on those things. And also focus on what you enjoy more than anything else. If there is an interest sphere of yours within what you do, that's where you're going to be your best. That's where you're thriving. That's where you're going to blossom. That's when you're going to be shining more than in any other. If you start with something really complicated because you want to show off, you're probably just going to stumble and fall. So start with the easy stuff. And it doesn't have to be long. People go on forever. But if you can save yourself time and the viewer time by giving some short information, it's a win-win, and they've learned something in a short time. So it's a really great way to do shorter videos as well, and mixed with other things. So that is the start of it. And I guess you need to select some content categories to make sure that it works, that you don't also go off track. That you're aligned with your own values, your core values and your brand values, and that the topic is correct for your brand and your business, because it's very easy to go off on unknown tracks and trails with social media, because you pick up on what you should be doing and it's actually not really your topic even. So just sticking to your expertise, really.
So that was going to be my next question. What are the most common mistakes people make once they do get in front of camera? And you already kind of touched on that, which is one of them was to not staying within your niche area and specializing in what you know most of or what you are most passionate about. But what would you say are other common mistakes people make when they get in front of camera?
I think it's very common on social media to oversell, to use it just as a promotional, selling tool. So what we used to see on television were ads, and the best ones were really fun stories, right? And that's what social media is all about. It's called social for a reason. It is a social platform, you know, about connections. And we know now at the moment we are really discovering the power of storytelling. So it's a brilliant platform for that. So not holding up an item and say, this is $4.99, buy it now, here's the link, but telling the story that we were talking about before, about those transformational you know, the stories of transformation and success that your clients, not that you've had, but your customers have experienced thanks to your support, whether you are your product yourself, maybe your service is the product, or if you have a physical product that you're selling. So it's really important to use storytelling. And that's also why it's great for women, because we've always been great storytellers. We've taught our children through storytelling. Even if we read them stories, bedtime stories, there's a you know, moral ending, or there's something within it to learn from. So we're good at that, and we often also don't like selling. We hate cold selling. We want to know that there's value attached. And by going out regularly, telling these stories, as we call them, building up credibility and trust, that for us feels better as well, because we know that people are buying into the whole concept. They're not just, you know, being flogged an item.
Yes. Okay, fantastic. Well, this has been such pleasure talking to you today. Thank you so much for your time.
Always a joy to talk about this. It's my big love and passion.
If anyone wants to find you and find out more about your courses and your products, where is the best place to find you, Mi?
The best way to start is really to do my crash course in video blogging, in smartphone vlogging, really. It's for business owners, and it will give you the whole foundation in a really swift online course. So all my training is available on vlogacademy.com. So VLOG academy.com, and I'm on social media under the Vlog Academy.
Excellent. I'll make sure to include the link to your course in my show notes. Thank you so much for your time, and I wish you a lovely rest of the day.